profit in 5 years. However, in 2022 and 2024, the airline reported net losses due to debt restructuring costs. But skies are clearing for the carrier. In the first quarter of 2025, Thai Airways reported a sharp increase in profits, fueled by rising passenger demand and expanded flight operations.
So the CEO is now here. I'll introduce him to you. Christine, this is Chai Siri.
Hi, Christine.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Now, as Thai Airways celebrates its 65th anniversary, it's also gearing up to relist on the Stock Exchange of Thailand. Nice to meet you at a time when the airline is preparing to exit rehabilitation.
Yes.
Are you both confident the worst is over for the airline?
Yes, I'm confident that the worst is over. We are financially strong, much stronger than before COVID.
Yes, of course, we already proved ourselves, at least for the 9 consecutive quarter profitable, very strong financial statement, and also we have a confidence from our creators, our customer, and our employee. We think we are better than even before the pandemics.
So if all things go according to plan, the idea is to relist on the Stock Exchange of Thailand in the third quarter of this year. It's a major milestone. What are your expectations? We're talking about a small float and it's a lockdown period.
Yes, actually, according to the regulation of the SET, we have to lock up the share from the strategic shareholders, comprising about 55%. But at the end, Thai Airways will trade in the stock market. But we have to creating a more confidence from the investor, which are not our shareholder now.
The turnaround story of Thai Airways, do you think it will be enough to attract the institutional investor?
I think so. I think we just have to keep the performance up. That's the important thing. But initially, after listing, it wouldn't be all that exciting because of the lockup period for a number of shareholders. And at the moment, we still have only a few institutional investors as our shareholders. We need more institutional investors to invest in the company. And I think it may not be feasible until there is more free float after 6 months and 1 year.
Is there a stock market price that you're looking at?
We don't have a target stock market price, but the latest capital raising, we're selling share price at 4.48 baht per share. But to give the confidence for the investor, if it's higher than 4.48, that means the market perception is good for Thai Airways.
You think that can happen?
It could happen, but there's one external problem, which is that when we did the public offering at the end of last year, Thai stock market was in a much better shape than now. So what the price will be will also depend on the state of the Thai stock market.
Don't go anywhere. More with Thai Airways CEO Chai Siri after the break.
At that time, you need a very strong leadership, more or less gray area between strong leadership and dictatorship, because you don't have time to debate.
When you think of Sweden, chances are the first brand that comes to mind is this one. As Sweden's most valuable brand, furniture retailer IKEA was also the largest consumer of wood in the world in 2019. With its many uses, forests are also seen as a reliable asset for investors, with 62% of forest owners feeling confident about profitability in the near future.
Forests are a new type of alternative investment. The attraction for institutional investors is, first of all, that the returns are generally not correlated to the overall equity market, with the added attraction coming from the sort of ESG aspects of it, in that it does capture carbon. Today, there's a lot of excitement around potential new uses of trees and wood. An area that's seen as a lot of potential is to use some byproducts from wood for creating biofuels for the auto industry. So you're seeing more, multi-story wood buildings. Certainly here in Sweden, I think the demand for for sawn timber structurally should be increasing. Likewise, paper today primarily would go into different types of packaging materials where they would be substituting plastic-based packaging materials.
But many argue that's come at a great cost to the environment. To maximize profitability, most companies engage in a widespread practice.
Clear cutting.
Clear cutting.
We're protecting this much in Swedish forestry, and what we really need is this much to protect.
So is it possible to balance the need for greener practices with economic viability?
Perhaps a larger ecosystem of smaller scale operators could help boost up the economic viability of doing forestry differently in Sweden. Not to mention that would be good for rural development as well, hopefully a source of jobs out in places that are experiencing population decline.
As Thai Airways celebrates its 65th anniversary, the airline is unveiling a fresh new look, from redesigned uniforms and upgraded amenity kits to brand new business class seats. That includes these fully flat seats set to debut on the carrier's A321 neo aircraft for long-haul routes. And on board this A320,
This aircraft we have a 12 of business class seat, but you can notice that this class we don't have a monitor at the back, but we are offering the passenger with the wireless in-flight entertainment.
Kuncha, you've been with the airline for 40 years. What insights can you give me about Thai Airways and its culture?
We were state-owned enterprise until the last 4 years. That changed from the state-owned enterprise into the private company. Airline business is a very high competitive market. If you are operate company like a state-owned enterprise, nothing much talking about the profitability, then you cannot survive in the long term. Then first thing, we have to change the mindset of people first.
And how challenging was that, changing the mindset?
We have to turn the crisis into the opportunity. If we not change, we will die at day one already since 5 years ago. So we have to change. It forces us to change. Yes.
Can you tell us more about the improved cost structure within the airline? Where are you spending more on now and where are you cutting back?
One is about the aircraft cost. Before we enter into the rehabilitation plan, aircraft cost per aircraft is very high. Now we already renegotiating with the lessor and also to the financial institute. We be able to cut down the cost at least around 50% of the aircraft cost was going down. Secondly is about the people cost. Before we restructuring the total FTE means permanent staff, the outsource, the out job, everything together is about 32,000 employee. We have been able to cut down by half. The third one is the financial costs, because since we are in the rehabilitation plan, we be able to freeze the financial costs for a while, and then we can repay back in about 12 years, average 12 years extension of the debt.
As you re-emerge from your rehabilitation, the landscape looks pretty volatile. There's geopolitics, there's a global economic uncertainty. Is that holding you back from expanding too aggressively?
It's not holding us back, but we are moving on the precaution mode. In the past, we think that, okay, we have cash on hand, more liquidities. On the other side, we also have the credit line from the financial institute in the hope that when we have crisis hitting us, we can draw that line into cash. So that's a lesson learned from Thai Airways, that we have to hold as much as we can hold the liquidities.
So have a ready cash flow?
Yes. Second is we have to change in terms of the source of the revenue. In the past, we are more relying on the point-to-point, especially Thailand market. We have a lot of lessons learned during the political disruption during the past. We know that this is a risk for Thai Airways. We're changing the structure by operate more on as a network airline, transfer or transport passenger from point A to Bangkok and to point B, and vice versa. By this way, we can diversify the source of revenue rather than relying on one single market. Yeah, I think this is the major change.
I understand you plan to double your fleet in the next 10 years or
Yeah.
so. What will your route expansion look like?
We will put more concentrating on the existing market, and also we want to go back to the market that we used to operate to. Second, we will put more frequency. As I explained, we will be the network airline. Network airline need frequency to be able to for the passenger to choose the scheduling to connecting into Bangkok. Thirdly, expand to more destination, especially in the Asia Pacific. For Europe, I think we are quite strong already.
In the past, Thai Airways used to operate direct flights from Thailand
Yeah.
to North America. Any plans to resume your U.S. connection routes?
Not for the short-term plan because we lack of aircraft. In order to operate to US, you need at least for non-stop flight, you need 3 aircraft. But we don't have that spare aircraft enough to operate to US. Secondly, if we want to operate direct from Bangkok to US, with the operational restriction, we cannot carry the economical revenue load. We are study, but we don't think that we have enough equipment to operate to US.
So that's on hold right
On
now.
hold now.
As CEO, your job is also to rebuild the trust, not just among investors, but also your passengers, your employees as well. What leadership style will you use to engage both internal and external stakeholders?
How can I say? I can be the bipolar disorder maybe. Bipolar because it's different. It's depending on the situation. Since we enter into the rehabilitation plan, and especially during the pandemics, at that time you need a very strong leadership, more or less gray area between strong leadership and dictatorship, because you don't have time to debate. Otherwise, the community will collapse. At that time, I maybe consider as Now, I think more diplomatic, I can say. Diplomatic leadership. Because you have to, you mentioning about the investor, the customer, the employee. You have to balancing among these three
It's a
major,
balancing act, yeah.
these three major group of people.
And finally, as CEO, getting that global ranking for best airline is everything. What is your ambition for Thai Airways?
In terms of ranking, there's so many institutions to ranking the airline, and they are also using the different methodologies. Some using the internal inspector, some using the customer survey, the real customer surveys. We use real customer surveys, but we are not ignoring the airline ranking. We also have our target.
What's your target?
My target is we already announced that top 10 after we get the new aircraft in, because with the old aircraft you cannot be the top 10. That has to be after 27, and 28 should be we can see the impact on the ranking from the different institutions.
Top 10 or top 5?
Top 5 I think is too ambitious. Top 10 would be reasonable.
Khun Chai, thank you so much for talking.
Thank you. Sawasdee krap.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Managing Asia. For more leadership insights, check out managingasia.cnbc.com. I'm Christine Tan. Thanks for watching.